All right, a very good evening to everyone. This is Shola Ibusi for Business and Tech Transformation Academy. Thank you so much for joining today. So let me share my screen very quickly so that we can proceed instantly. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, okay, good. So today we want to look at another task with respect to our data analysis learning. So today we want to do something, that is popularly called the payroll. All right, the payroll. So we want to try to, create a payroll, try to analyze it and all of that. So this is the data we'll be using. Okay, we'll still maintain this name that we used yesterday, but then all of these are work hours. So let me come around here. All right, so these are all the names, and I'm just gonna say payroll. All right, so here I can say employee payroll. All right, so now so let's do hours works. Of course, this is an hourly uh payment thing. So hours worked. So here you have this one as hours worked. So let me copy this. So these are arbitrary numbers, okay? So, and then I'm just gonna put it here. All right, so that's the hours worked. So let me push this to this side and just name this. So let's imagine that this payroll is for last month's for last month. So let's say from April 1st, April 1, okay? And let's see what we can do with that. Okay, so let's see the all right, I think we will need the hourly wage. Let me go and get the hourly wage. The hourly wage. Excuse me, let me just get the hourly wage. The hourly wage. All right. Okay. All right, the hourly wage. So we have the hourly wage here. So, but let me just shift them so that they don't. So I'm going to put the hourly wage. Let me cut this. Control X. Just going to put this here, and then this one I want to move it here. Okay, so I'll call this the hourly wage. The hourly wage. And then this one can come here. And then we can bring this back here. All right, so and then let's have pay here. So if you have, so we are imagining that this is for the first week in April, okay? So if you come here to say pay for that particular week, you're going to have equals, I mean, you want to start a formula. So equals this hourly wage, all right, multiplied by your asterisk sign, just on top of it, shift 8 times 41 times this, this cell, okay? That will give you the pay for that particular week, okay? And you can then copy it down. That will give you the pay for that particular week, okay? Now, how about us calculating the overtime, okay? So let's say overtime, because ordinarily you work 8 hours per day times 5, that's 40. So overtime hours, all right? And of course, we would also have overtime bonus. Overtime bonus, okay? So let's stretch this, let's stretch this. So for overtime hours, what you would have would be equals this hours worked, okay, for the week minus 40, 8 times 5 for a week. And that will give you 1, all right? So let's stretch it down. Hopefully it works, but it looks like we might run into problem, especially for people who did not do overtime. So let's drag it down. All right, now you have minus 11, minus 7, minus 1. Of course, that does not make sense because you can't have minus 1 or minus 11 as overtime hours. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so that means something is wrong with our formula. So what that means is that, for people who did not work above 40, it's better to just put their overtime as 0. So, but if we use this formula whereby we say the hours worked minus 40, and we make it a general rule, it won't work, all right? So we need to use a better whatever. So let's use the if formula. Let's use the if formula. So logical test could be about equals, less than, or greater than. So let's say that if this place, okay, the hours worked is greater than 40. If it's greater than 40, then, the value, if true, would be this box, these hours worked minus 40. That will be the true value. That's if this is more than 40, okay? Like, for example, 41 now. The true value would then be 41 minus 40. But if this hours worked is not up to 40, then the value, if false, would be 0. You close your bracket, press enter, you still have 1 for this, just because this is more than 40. But let's drag it down for the others, especially those ones that have negative. All right, good. So where you have all the negative, whatever, it will return 0. So let me do the formula again so that you understand what I just did. Okay, I'm going to clear it and just do it again. So you use the if formula. So you type if, you double click on this, and then put in your logical test, which is if this one is greater than 40, then the true value will be this particular value minus 40, which is the hours worked, normal hours worked in a week. If that's the true value, but the false value will then be if this is not more than 40, then you have to return 0. Okay, you close your bracket, close parentheses, and then you press enter. All right, let me try and mute everyone. Okay, good. So now we have the formula. Okay, let's drag it down in case, just to be sure. Good. Now we have that. Okay, so we have the overtime hours. How about the overtime bonus? Okay, so in this company, there's a rule that the overtime bonus will be half of your hourly wage, which is 0.5 times your hourly wage times the extra hours worked. This one. Let me go over that again. The rule in the company says we'll pay you half of your hourly wage. Okay, half of it, which is 0.5 times this one, multiplied by the overtime hours, okay, which is this one. You press enter. All right, that gives you 795. Now you can drag it down, and then you have this. So you notice that for some people, they have 0. Overtime bonus is 0. Why? Because their overtime hours is 0. They didn't work overtime. Okay, so they are entitled to their normal wage, and that's all. They are entitled to their normal wage. So if we have that, of course, we can also calculate the total pay for that particular week. All right, the total pay definitely will be equals the normal pay plus the overtime bonus. All right, which is this. Okay, and of course, you can drag that down. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right. So that's the total pay for that particular week. All right. But then we have more than a week in April. So we need to stretch further. Okay. So, but before we do that, let's try to say, let's do our max and mean and all of that. Max, mean, average, and let's say total. All right. Okay, so before we do that, let's try and change the data type for some of this stuff. Okay, now look at this hourly wage. All right, so let's put it in dollars. Let's assume that these are our brothers and sisters who have jackpot. Okay, so you can have it in dollars, or of course you can change it to naira. It doesn't have to be so. It doesn't have to be, um, you know, dollars. You can change it to, any kind of symbol you want. Okay. So look at all the symbols here. So the naira, so you can see the naira here. Okay. All right. So let me go out of that. So we're using dollars. All right. So for pay here also, it has to be dollars. All right. Okay, let me just use this dollars. Overtime bonus will also be dollars, and then the total pay also dollars. Okay, beautiful. Yep. So let's go down. Max will be, let's say, so for this hourly wage, the max, the person that is earning the highest hourly wage. Let's get that. Of course, that's why you're a data analyst. You can't use your eyes to just be, scrolling through. What if you have about 1,000 member of staff? Okay, so just use your formula, max, double click, and then you can highlight all of this so that you get the person with the highest hourly wage, and then you close bracket, enter. Yep, 45. So the guy with 45, thank God, praise, is the one with the highest hourly wage. I guess probably is an executive, manager or whatever. All right, let's look at minimum. The guy who is earning the lowest, so to say, within the organization, close parentheses, enter, that's it. And then you can do average, double click, and then you also highlight all of this, and then you close parentheses, this. All right. Then we don't need total for this one. Don't need total for this one. So this and this should all be in dollars. Okay. All right. So let's try and stretch the formula. Stretch and stretch it. All right. But some are not supposed to be in dollars. So this hourly, the hours worked definitely cannot be in dollars. So let's highlight that and take it back to general. All right. So you have this, decimal places, quite lengthy. So come over here, just reduce it, reduce it, reduce it, reduce it. Okay, beautiful. Okay, others. Now this one, the overtime hours, not supposed to be in dollars. Come over here, use this, okay? And you have this guy with too many, all right? One decimal place is good. And then this one is in dollars, this one in dollars. Okay, beautiful. So, but then we need to do total. Let's do total for the hours. Total. Yeah, of course, total will be the sum of everything, okay? Sum, double click, and then you can highlight all of this, and you close parentheses, enter. So about 695 hours was done by all the staff, okay? And of course, you can stretch that down. All right. So this is supposed to be in dollars. This is supposed to be in dollars. And this should be in dollars. All right. Okay, good. So let's try and do for, let's take a step further and try to work on the remaining number of weeks, okay? So I'm going to insert some columns after this. So let me just highlight this and press right click and press insert. All right, okay, let me Control Z, undo. I don't want to be wasting time, doing another insert And then, no. Let me just, I will highlight about 4 columns and then insert. So it's going to insert 4 columns for me. Beautiful. So here, let's put in the date. So let's say April 1st. Okay, no, let's use our formula. Equals this plus 7. That is the following week. You have the 8th of April. All right. So let's stretch this formula a bit more to the last week. Beautiful. The last week in April. All right. Good. So let me copy the remaining work hours. Remaining work hours. These are arbitrary numbers, so let me bring it here. And so we can do this. All right. Okay, good. So we have all of these hours now, okay, filled in for each of them, okay, for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th week, okay? So somehow, the weeks, amounted to 5, about 5 weeks in April. So let's try and calculate. So let's try and match this so that, sorry, I'm going to highlight this and just bring margins and bring it to the center. Okay, good. So for pay, okay, this pay now is just for April 1st, isn't it? So April 1st, all right? So we need to extend it to other weeks, okay? So let me add another 4 columns and then just insert. Okay, good. So that I can then put my other dates. Sorry, put my other dates and then I can stretch it down. Okay, good. So I can also take this and merge it and make it come to the center. Okay, good. All right. So here, let's see what we can do to get the pay, the weekly pay, the normal weekly pay. Okay, the normal weekly pay. So let's see what we can do. So ordinarily, so let's see if we can just copy and paste. So let's copy this and then paste. And let's see if it's going to work. Now, these this amount are quite big, but let's see if it's referencing the right thing. Don't forget your absolute referencing, and relative referencing. So let's come to this. Okay, so this one now is for hourly wage times the hour worked. Beautiful. But let's look at this one. D5, E5, imagine it multiplied, two different hours worked together. It multiplied it, and that's why the value was just too much, 1,722. All right. It should actually maintain this colon. All right, maintain this colon while multiplying by this. All right, and then for this one, it will multiply by this, and for this one, it will multiply by this. So all of this can change, but this hourly wage should not change. All right, so let's go back to our absolute referencing. So I'm going to come here. All right, so now the last absolute referencing that we did, I put the dollar sign here, isn't it? Now that's because a particular number has to be maintained. But this time around, we want to maintain a particular column. So you put your dollar sign here. I hope you got that. You put your dollar sign before that particular column, and then you enter. Okay. So let's drag it down. Let's drag it down. This might, of course, will still maintain the same number just because it's the first whatever. All right. But then let's try and copy it and bring it here. So definitely this will change. All right. Can you see it has changed? But let's look at what is referencing now. Good. So it's referencing C5 and 42. Okay, which is what it's supposed to do. The hourly wage times this. Let's look at this one. No. Yep. The hourly wage of this times this. If I had put the dollar sign in between C and whatever here, if I put the dollar sign here, it will continue to reference 15.90. Okay. But then putting the dollar sign before makes it to just jump from this one to this one and to this one and to this one, just down like that. So let's look at this one. So as a data analyst, make sure that you always validate your formula. Okay. Make sure you always, so this one is, okay, this one times this one. Beautiful. All right. That makes sense. Okay. So we can then copy. So, okay, let's just stretch it down and then we'll have a beautiful. Then let's validate our formula. You never can tell. Okay. This hourly wage times this for 29. Beautiful. This hourly wage, maintaining this hourly column C, and the the corresponding value under week 5, okay, the week of 29th of April. Beautiful. All right, so we are done with that. Okay, we got that. So let's move a step further. Now, the overtime hours also, this is just for 1st of April. We need to replicate this, okay? Now, because we are seeing so many numbers now, don't get confused. It might look quite confusing. So I'm going to color this stuff so that it doesn't become something that you then begin to say, I mean, these numbers are just, okay. So just to differentiate stuffs, okay? And then we can color these also just for us to be able to differentiate them. All right. Feel free to use any color of your choice. Okay. So let's go to overtime hours now. Overtime hours. So let me just pick another 4 columns and add it here. All right. So this should be April 1. And let me just +7. Okay. And then I can stretch it down. All right. Okay. Then I can pick this and then merge and center it. Beautiful. Okay. So for overtime hours, all right, overtime hours. So this one is supposed to, do this. Okay. So let's see if relative referencing can work. You just copy and then you go paste. All right. So let's see if it works. So let me click this 10 and see what it it really deducted. So it should be the hours worked minus 40. So let's under week 8. So let me look at this. All right. Now you can't see the other side. Okay, so let me do something that will make us see the other side easily. Okay, the other side. All right, so let's do what I call, I'm going to highlight this stuff. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to highlight, let me just stop here. I'm going to highlight this, all right? And then just gonna, I've highlighted that. Come to view, okay? Come to view, come to zoom, and then click fit selection. So what I highlighted, the space I highlighted is the only one that will be showing on the screen so that I can compare and contrast, all right? So good. Excuse me. So this is the space I want to see. So let me come back to this 11. How did we get to this 11? So it's good. It came to the week under 8, 51 minus 40. Beautiful. And it gave us 11. Beautiful. So let's confirm this. If okay, it came to this 54 minus 40, and then it gave us 14. Okay, good. Relative referencing worked perfectly here. 42 minus 40. Beautiful. So that means we are good. We are good. We don't need to do any you know, there's no cell or any column that's supposed to be constant. So no need for a dollar sign. So we can also put this just do our color thing. Color. All right. Okay, so overtime bonus needs to also be paid for, well, just jump in few minutes if this session terminates somehow. All right, so let me insert 4, and then we can put April 1st, and then try to do this. Beautiful. And then we can stretch it. We can stretch it before we go. All right. And then we can do this and then center margin.